Here are the most underrated suburbs near Cincinnati, Ohio. Everybody wants Hyde Park. Everybody wants Indian Hill. And look, we get it. Those neighborhoods are gorgeous. But here's the part that nobody tells you about when you're moving to Cincinnati. Some of the best places to live in this whole city are not the ones sitting on your Pinterest board. They're the ones that your future neighbors are quietly hoping you never find out about. I'm Peter Chabris with the Chabris Group, and our team lives and works right here in greater Cincinnati, Ohio. In fact, last year alone, we closed 613 transactions with buyers and sellers across the region. And if there's one pattern we keep seeing, it's this. The suburbs that everyone searches for online are not always the ones that people are happiest a year after they move in. So today, I'm gonna walk you through 4 suburbs that we think are seriously underrated while they're flying under the radar, and who each one is actually built for. So stick around, because number 3 might be the one that surprises you the most. What underrated actually means in the Cincinnati real estate game. So let's clear this one thing up first. When we call a suburb underrated, we don't mean that it's cheap, and we don't mean that it's some secret that nobody has ever heard of. What we mean is that the value that you get for your money doesn't match the attention that it gets online. According to Redfin, the median home price sale across greater Cincinnati is $289,000, up 5.4% from this time last year. And that is still well below the national median. So when we point to an underrated suburb, we're talking about a place where your dollar stretches even further. Your daily life gets easier, and you're not paying a premium just because a neighborhood has a certain reputation. So keep that in mind as we go, because it kind of changes how you should be searching. So that brings us to our first suburb on the list, the one with maybe the biggest gap between reputation and reality. Mason, Ohio. Big schools without that big city price tag. So Mason usually comes up for one reason: its school district. And fair enough, it's a real draw. Families move here specifically because Mason schools are such a strong, consistent reputation. But what catches people off guard is how much house and how much lifestyle come with it. You're looking at real yards, cul-de-sacs, walking trails, a downtown that has really grown up over the last few years, like with some new restaurants and some new shops. When we help families relocate here, especially transferees coming from bigger metros on the coasts, Mason, it's often that suburb that makes them stop and go, wait, this is what our budget gets us here? That reaction right there is the whole point of this video. So now let's head west a little bit, because the next suburb solves a problem that a lot of relocating families don't even know that they're gonna have yet. Westchester, the suburb built for easy living. So if Mason is about schools, Westchester is about convenience. This is a community built around ease. Short commutes, quick highway access, shopping, dining, minutes from your door, and neighborhoods that run from starter homes all the way up to the larger executive style properties. According to our local MLS data, homes here sell for about $450 grand, yet the day-to-day cost of living remains manageable compared to what you'd pay for the same easy lifestyle in a place like Boston or Denver. We work with a ton of trade-up buyers here, folks who owned a smaller home somewhere else, and they're ready for more space, without a complicated commute. And Westchester, it tends to check every box on that list. Now we're at the halfway point, and I want to pause for just a second before we keep going. So far, we've covered Mason for families chasing top schools, and Westchester for anyone who wants their day-to-day life to feel a little easier. But the suburb coming up next might be the single most overlooked spot in this entire market, and I mean that. So before we get there, quick thing. If you're relocating to Cincinnati, or if you're even just thinking about it, we've put together a full relocation guide with neighborhood information, top schools, major employers, and other local insights that will help you make a smart move. It's linked in the description below, or you can scan the QR code on your screen right now. So let's grab it, and then let's keep going. Blue Ash, the small town feel with big city convenience. Blue Ash doesn't get nearly the attention it deserves, and let me speak with you directly. I think that's a mistake that buyers are making. This is a suburb with its own thriving business district, a well-loved recreation center, walkable green space, and a real sense of community that's it's hard to manufacture. According to local recent data, home sales in the Blue Ash area have been selling for a median price of $545,000 roughly. And yet, it's still nowhere as talked about as Montgomery right next door, even though Montgomery's median sales price is $632,000. So if you want that same polished, established feel without paying Montgomery pricing, Blue Ash deserves a serious look. Now, from there, let's cross over towards the river, because our next suburb might have the best kept secret views in the entire region. Anderson Anderson Township, the river views that nobody is talking about. Now, Anderson sits right along the Ohio River, and if you've never driven through it, you are missing some of the prettiest scenery in the whole metro. In fact, according to local MLS data, home prices here have been climbing steadily, currently at $398,000 with strong year-over-year appreciation as more buyers discover what has been sitting here all along. Anderson gives you space, mature trees, a slower pace, the Forest Hill School District, and access to parks and riverfront areas that feel worlds away from city traffic. And yet you're still a short drive from downtown. We've watched relocating families fall in love with Anderson the moment they actually spend a weekend there. Why? Because the photos online just don't capture how peaceful it feels in person. Now, here's the one number that buyers keep overlooking. Here's something that we think gets lost on all the neighborhood talk. According to Freddie Mac, the average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage has been around 6.4% recently, and many buyers assume that automatically puts affordability out of reach. But when you pair that rate with suburbs like the ones that we just walked you through, where prices are still reasonable compared to the national numbers, your monthly payment story looks a lot better than you might have expected. And this is exactly why we tell clients not to fixate on the rate alone. It's the combination of price, location, and rate together that tells you the real story. So here's the whole thesis of this video. The number one mistake that we see buyers make is only searching for the suburbs that everyone else is already searching for. That drives up competition, drives up price, and it can push you right out of the neighborhoods that you otherwise would have actually fit your life better. The lesson is simple. Broaden your search just a little, and you might find more house, more peace, and more community for the same budget, sometimes even less. If you're relocating to Cincinnati, or you're already here and you're just starting to think, might be time for a change, please reach out. Our team does this every single day, and we would love to help you figure out which of these neighborhoods actually fits your life, not just your budget. And if these neighborhood deep dives are useful to you, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel so the next video finds you. Make sure you watch the next video popping up on your screen right now. Discover Hyde Park, Ohio, Cincinnati's premium neighborhood that you should not miss. And I'll see you there.